If you've struggled with stress, balance, or burnout, and simply feel discouraged or even defeated, and if you're ready to move from force to flow and enjoy ultimate Zen success in your career, health, or relationships, then the Zen Success Show is for you. Your host, Carissa Sims, is an entrepreneur, corporate consultant, best-selling author, meditation teacher, and healer who has found her own Zen success. Here's your host, Carissa Sims. Welcome to this week's episode of Zen Success. Today, I have the pleasure of speaking with Andrew Culkin. Andrew is the author of Amanda, a Cautionary Tale. He has spoken at several rehab facilities in Southern California as a guest speaker, and he has been an insurance broker for the past 30 years with several major Fortune 500 companies. Andrew is dedicated to helping families understand, identify, and cope with an alcoholic and mentally ill loved one. Welcome, Andrew.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Yeah, it's great to have you on my show. And I'm curious, this has nothing to do with your book, but you have a knight armor behind
this
you.
Is my, I didn't even think of it. It's in the background. It's a Knights Templar.
Yeah.
I collect medieval weapons and a lot of historical pieces. I have a World War II museum, but that's actually a Knights Templar from the 12th century, right?
That's incredible. Wow. And then you have all these like beautiful medieval like relics in
I've got old helmets from different eras, from the Roman era to, the Dark Ages. Right?
What got you interested in that?
I've always been interested in history. When I was a kid, I grew up in New York, and we used to visit Civil War battlefields. We used to go to Antietam and Gettysburg and a lot of different battlefields with my dad, because my dad was a teacher. So I've always been, interested in history, and this is just all part of it. This is old history, very old history here.
Well, it's really interesting and amazing. I love it. I love the decor.
Sometimes we forget that, he's actually not moving. Sometimes I walk in the room and he scares you.
Right. Well, there's a certain energy about the relics as well. So, I mean, it could be real.
So someday I'm going to have to put it on and just stand there and freak everybody out when I move.
Right. That would be amazing. So let's get back to you and your mission and your purpose. I know that's like one of your passions, collecting medieval relics. But so what do you feel the real pandemic was over the past few years?
The real pandemic?
Yeah.
Well, there's two pandemics. The pandemic, and it's actually creating, there's a 25% increase in alcoholism and related mental health issues.
Wow.
Because, we shut everybody down. A 25% increase in deaths.
Wow.
Specifically with alcoholism. And it doesn't even include other issues like, drug addiction and other things that it certainly exasperated.
Yeah, you're just talking about specifically alcoholism.
This is just alcoholism, yeah. And there's also a 2.5%, almost 3% increase in the purchase of alcoholism, which they haven't seen since the end of Prohibition. So there's a huge increase in alcoholism purchasing and deaths directly related to COVID-19.
Yeah, that's an interesting statistic. And why do you feel that is? Do you feel that people were depressed, so they drank more, or why do you think that was?
Well, I think for a lot of people, it made it worse for some people that might have already been at risk already. And it also, when you take away people's income and they have, you can't leave your house, you shut the whole population down. That creates a lot of added stress. If someone's already at risk, it's just going to make that problem that much worse. Or people who maybe normally wouldn't drink as much are drinking a lot more because they have nothing better to do. Having a lack of purpose is a big cause of alcoholism and depression. You have to have
Mm.
you lose purpose, and you have either depression, either a long term, or maybe a chemical problem. But this would be more situational. But situational depression could certainly cause uh, a jump in alcoholism.
Yeah, interesting. And so you wrote this book, Amanda, a cautionary tale. What inspired you to
Well,
write it, and how has
well,
it been received?
she was my wife of 25 years, and I watched her decline for the last 2 decades of her life. And at the end of it, all I had was a box of ashes. And I realized with all the experience that I'd had, I certainly didn't want to just end it there. I knew I can help other families, I can help other people who can identify maybe a loved one in their family who's at risk of being an alcoholic, or maybe they're already an alcoholic. And I can also help families deal with someone and understand what's going on instead of being reactionary. Maybe find a way to help the person rather than just being angry and full of animosity all the time. We have to be able to identify that person and help them. We have to help alcoholics in a better way. We have to have a different approach than simply going to rehabs all the time. That's just a
Mm,
short term. That's a very short term solution to a long term problem.
mm. Yeah, interesting. Well, was it hard for you to write it? Did it bring up a lot of memories, or was it therapeutic and healing?
Well, I think it was a little bit of both. I started writing it, maybe 4 or 5 months after she passed away.
Hmm.
And I wrote it. I think I wrote the first 120 pages or so, and then it seemed like it was very angry. The first 100 pages,
Mm,
and I realized I was putting a lot of emotion into it. So I
mm.
stopped. I stopped for almost a year, about 10 months. I just stepped away from it, and I needed to have a clearer perspective of what I was doing. I think I needed to look outside of the emotions that I was feeling at the time, and I came up with a much better book. I rewrote some of the beginning, and just came up with a much better story, and a much better book that can help other people and who can identify and maybe understand what I went through and be able to relate to it. It's also a very entertaining story. I mean, it's a woman who, Amanda was, she's one of the top salespeople in our brokerage, and she went from
Wow.
that to being, the last few years of her life, she just sat in front of a television set 18 hours a day and drank. I mean, there's nothing we could do for her, but just going from point A to point B and everything in between. It's a very sad story, but that's already come and gone. All we can do now is help people who are still, who are still struggling.
Hmm.
You
Hmm.
know?
Yeah. And did you notice the signs of when she just wanted to sit and watch? Because it didn't seem like her. Was there anything in particular that happened, or was it gradual?
Oh, it's a very long progression. She's actually originally from Canada. Her family was. So when I first met her, she always drank, almost a bottle of wine every day or half a bottle. I think a lot of
Okay.
it was to relax after, a stressful day of driving and dealing with people. And that, 0.750 bottle became 1.75 liters, after about 10 years. So she's drinking
Mm,
almost 2 liters of wine a day. Um,
wow.
I mean, she was functioning at that point. I mean, she was still able to do everything. But I think eventually, it began to wear her down physically and mentally and emotionally. It was a
Yeah.
very slow process, and I was woefully ignorant of alcoholism. I had never been exposed to it.
Yeah.
I don't. I mean, I drink a little bit, but I mean, it's I don't think 2 beers on a weekend is in comparison to what she was doing.
Hmm.
You know.
Well, there's also the social component. It seems that not necessarily alcoholism, but drinking alcohol is acceptable. It's not. especially wine. I mean, people have
Right.
jokes about it, and
Oh, of course.
and so I can understand where you're coming from of like, this gradual progression. Oh, she's drinking wine, and maybe she's had a few glasses, and maybe not even noticing. Oh, wow, we're really going through a lot of wine, and so that how did it start to affect her health? Was her health slowly declining?
Well, because there's a lot of calories when you drink that much wine, and she gained quite a
Yeah.
bit of weight.
Oh, I
And
see.
the weight, we had a pretty, I bought a big house in Escondido, California, which is about an hour from here, and it was
I
three
know
stories,
Escondido. Yeah.
and there was a lot of steps in this house, so there was three levels, and the extra weight that she had, it really wrecked her knees and her
Mm,
hips,
hmm
and that began to really take effect on her. She was in pain a lot.
hmm
Eventually, she had to have her knees replaced, but the pain that she was going through, along with an old ankle injury, was kind of another excuse for her to drink because it numbed some of the physicality that she was going through, the pain she was going through.
Mm. And did
Yeah,
you guys have kids?
yeah. We have one son.
Hmm
Yeah,
And
he's 22 now. Yeah,
oh, okay. And how old was he at the time when she was going through all this?
well, I'd say his entire childhood.
His entire life. Oh,
His
wow.
entire childhood. Oh yeah. The longest stretch that she went without drinking was when she was pregnant with our son. He was born in 2000. So
Mm.
kudos to her. She did not drink during that 9 month period.
And
I
not
don't think,
everyone does. I mean, some people still drink wine.
right.
Yeah.
And I'm very proud of my son in the fact that he's very anti alcohol. In
Yeah.
fact, when he turned 21, some of his friends gave him a bottle of Jack Daniels. And he gave it to me. He goes, Dad, I don't know what to do with this. I'm never gonna, put it in your liquor cabinet. I don't want anything to do with it. I'm going,
Yeah.
no
Good for
problem.
you.
No problem.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Well, was there ever any other behaviors, or was it just like she was slowing down? Like, was she ever violent or anything like that coming out?
Well, I think the first real issue was when our son Griffin was, probably first, second grade, and my wife was part of a carpool, and they would take turns bringing the kids to the elementary school.
Yeah.
I think some of the other mothers noticed, alcohol in her breath in the morning, and
Oh,
that was an
yeah.
issue. So they kind of kicked her out of the carpool, which is, a pretty normal thing to do. And
Right.
she began losing friends. Socially, she would drink too much if we had people over, and she kind of began to have a reputation.
Mm-hmm.
And she lost a lot of friends. Alcoholism, what happens is you get very isolated, because a lot of people just don't want to be around it once they realize there's a situation. And a lot of people really had no idea of the extent of her alcoholism. Because if you don't see somebody enough and you only see them when, socially, they're not going to really understand it. But that
Yeah.
was one of the first cases was the carpool, and then she started getting DUIs, she started getting arrested, and uh, she had a lot of legal issues as a result.
Mm.
She drove through the front of our house 2 times.
Wow. Twice. You think,
Yeah,
yeah,
things
the
like
first
that. You,
time.
you kind of pick up there's an issue, right?
Mm-hmm. Were you working a lot at this time? Traveling or
Yeah, well,
like,
I'm an insurance, but luckily I've worked out of my house my entire career. Um, but I do a lot of driving.
mhm. Yeah, but
I'd be gone 6, 7 hours a day during open enrollment during this time of year, usually October, November, most of December. It's 12 hours a day. So during that period, I was gone quite a bit. And she
yeah,
used
but
to
not
help,
excessively. Not that's
no,
not excessive because I mean, I was thinking, gosh, maybe she was sad that you were gone. No, no, nothing like that. Did it run in her family or anything?
yes, it runs in her family. Initially, because they're from Canada, I thought it was a cultural thing. I thought because they all drink wine, initially, and there's other
Mm-hmm.
family members, close family members that has a similar issue.
Mm-hmm.
Her parents are both gone now, but I mean, she has a sibling that has an issue, you
Uh-huh.
know, and her grandmother died of it. So there's definitely a hereditary element to it
Mm-hmm.
too. You definitely have a more susceptibility to alcoholism if it's in your
Yeah.
past. Absolutely.
Yeah. It runs in my family too.
Yeah.
I would notice my grandmother definitely was an alcoholic, and my dad, I would consider him because he could not stop, although he was never like abusive or aggressive. There's nothing like that, but he had to have 2 beers a night,
Right.
and like he had to, and there was nothing that was going to stop it. Same with his coffee. I mean,
Right.
anything can be an addiction: food,
Right.
coffee, exercise, but alcoholism can definitely be more, obviously detrimental
Right.
because you affect other people or driving. But I just find it interesting because I was like, oh yeah, he is, but no one ever said anything to him. I never said anything to him. It was just normal. I mean, I
Right.
didn't think anything of it. Like my grandmother was an alcoholic. I was like, okay, so you're an alcoholic, no big
Right.
deal.
Right.
So that and I think maybe back in those times, it was maybe even more socially acceptable, like
Probably.
in
That
that
was
era.
well, it's the only thing where it's when someone sees someone struggling with it, they think it's almost funny. You know, it's the only
Yeah,
disease. It's the only disease that we can laugh about and criticize. We don't criticize the person who has stage 4 cancer,
that's
you
true.
know, or the
Hmm.
diabetic that has no legs and they're in a wheelchair. Why do we
Hmm.
criticize the alcoholic? And that's one of the things I'm trying to come across with people is that this is a disease and it needs to be treated like a disease.
Hmm.
And the first step is for people to understand that someone is in it's a life or death situation when you're a chronic alcoholic. It really is. I mean,
Yeah, absolutely. And it can cause all sorts of different medical issues. So technically, alcoholism is a disease, correct?
it's absolutely a disease.
Hmm.
Yes.
And yeah, and so and it's always been a disease, or has this been more recent where it's an actual diagnosis?
Probably in the last since the 1960s, there were some studies, and it was diagnosed as a disease.
Yeah,
Yeah,
categorized that way. Yeah.
categorized. Yeah.
hmm So how do you know if a loved one has an addiction? I mean, do you
Well,
feel like there can be healthy addictions as well, or there can be anything can be an
I
addiction?
don't think. Well, the thing is, it's never a good idea to have too much of anything.
Yeah.
Chronic alcoholism is when you created a habit where you have to have something every single day and it becomes part of you. And if it's adversely affecting you mentally, physically, and it's affecting the people around you, then yeah, that person has a problem. A lot of times you don't even have to ask the alcoholic if they have a problem because they're always going to say no, they don't. Just ask the people around them. They'll tell you. Okay, just
Hmm.
ask family members because when you have an alcoholic in the family, the whole family is suffering from alcoholism in one way or the other.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, absolutely. I know I was dating this guy in college, and he would smoke pot, drink, all of
right,
that, and
right.
probably addicted to both, actually. And one time, I mean, he didn't really feel, I mean, I think a lot of people think that pot is not addictive. Maybe there's studies on that or something, but I do feel like it can be habitual. And
Oh,
this one time we were driving, and I knew he was high,
yeah,
and he was driving. I let him drive, and he almost hit this pedestrian, and I
yeah,
was like, okay, that's it, I'm done, I'm out,
right.
I'm out. I didn't even try to change him, to be honest, because I just was like, oh no. I talked to him, and he's like, no, I don't have a problem. And I was like, okay, yeah, I'm out of here. I can't have a child with this person,
Right.
you know. So it's just, you're so right about people being in denial because it's such a crutch. It's such a part of who they are that
Right.
if you take that away, it's like taking away part of themselves.
Oh, it is. Oh, yeah. My wife was in denial up until the day we unplugged her the machines that were keeping her alive. You know.
Wow. Yeah. And
you know.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
I don't have a
Yeah.
problem. Okay, well, she was in the UCLA Medical Center the last. She was at a rehab facility. She fell down a flight of stairs, and we ended up putting her in the UCLA Ronald Reagan Medical Center. She was there for 28 days. I mean, the bill was over $3 million, but she didn't have a problem. You know?
Yeah. Did she ultimately die of like liver damage?
No, she had so many issues,
Oh, so many. Yeah.
pages of
Multiple
issues that were all
pages.
related.
Yeah.
Ultimately, she fell down a flight of stairs
Yeah.
at a rehab, but then when they opened her up, she had so many problems internally that they couldn't even go after all of them. I mean, her liver was having problems. She was on kidney dialysis.
Yeah.
Her stomach
Everything.
was gone, and I mean, there was just no point. And she's only 58 years old.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. And what do you think about doctor? They used to have advice that I think it's called resveratrol. There's something in wine that can be beneficial. Do
Oh
you
yeah.
remember
Yeah,
that trend?
well, a glass of wine,
Yeah.
specifically red wine, a
Red
glass
wine.
is good
Yeah.
for your heart. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what they like a
Same thing
good.
with whiskey. You can have like one shot of whiskey is actually good for your uh your I guess your bloodstream and your heart.
Hmm.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah, interesting. Because I think sometimes people have that in their head a little bit too. Like, oh, wine's good for you. Do you think?
Yeah, if one glass of red wine is good for you, maybe I should have 10. It'd even be better, right?
Right, right,
Right.
right. Yeah. So, how do you think someone becomes an alcoholic? Would they tend to have other addictions as well?
Well, they can, but usually it's one serious addiction. Usually it's one that's more than others. Amanda also had problems with you know prescription medications. She went to
Oh,
doctors
yeah.
all the time. She had piles of prescription medications. I don't e, And the thing is, when she got drunk, she would take too many, and she would overdose a number of times. So so she was having multiple addictions, definitely.
Hmm.
I think a lot of people smoke, like you said, they smoke dope and they drink.
Hmm.
When I spoke at the rehabs, a lot of the kids are fentanyl is a big problem now, and so is heroin, which was never around when
Mm.
I was a kid.
Hmm.
Um, Heroin is a big issue because you can get addicted to it after using it one time.
Yeah, highly addictive. Hmm.
Highly addictive.
Hmm. As well as painkillers and things that the doctors prescribe as well,
Right. That's why
or they
they
can lead to other things.
they
Yeah.
can lead to other things, but
Hmm.
usually, I mean, she took so many medications I didn't even know what they were. You
Yeah,
know,
you couldn't keep track.
I
How did
couldn't.
you guys meet?
We met at work. We were both insurance brokers. We met at a company.
Oh,
And then
great.
eventually we started our own brokerage. We had a very good business, and we had a very good relationship. The thing is with her was that she was a very nice person. She was a very kind person,
Yeah.
you know, which was doubly difficult.
Yeah, because you knew her heart.
Yeah, I mean, if she was like a complete pain in the ass, it would have been easier to say goodbye. You know.
Yeah, you loved her deeply, I could
Yes, I
tell.
mean she was a kind person. I mean, we had two cats and two dogs when we first moved in together, and they would like she'd walk around the house and they would just like follow her around. She
Oh,
was the Pied Piper. She just had this energy. She had a very outgoing energy.
yeah. Yeah. Magnetic, right?
Magnetic,
You
right?
track. And then did you guys ever go out and drink together socially?
I never really drank that much. It was
Yeah,
just
it
her,
was no,
just
you
her.
never did. Okay. Yeah.
I mean, I have a cigar once in a while, and I'll have maybe a shot and a half of whiskey, and I'll sip on it for 3 hours. I don't really.
Yeah.
I'm more of an athlete. I just there's just alcohol's never really been a big part of my life.
Yeah.
With her, it was just on her way home, she picked up 2 bottles of wine every day.
Hmm.
You know,
Yeah. Did your relationship impact your profession or your job at all?
well, sometimes.
Hmm.
sometimes. I mean, during our open enrollment season, she would usually make the phone calls. And there were times when I realized she was talking to my clients and she was
Totally
fairly well
drunk.
inebriated. I go, you gotta stop doing that. She's just rambling on about her life to my clients. I'm like,
Oh, can we cancel?
yeah. And there were other times where, later when she had DUIs, she had, I mean, a number of DUIs. She had 4 DUIs, and then she had, the police were coming and looking for her. She had warrants. I mean, there's a few times where they came to our house, and I was trying to work, and I got the, police walking through my house. It was very stressful,
Yeah. Yeah,
very,
that
very
is
stressful.
stressful.
You know,
So, do you do talks at these rehab facilities? How do you help other families
yeah. Well,
understand this
I really
disease?
talk to the parents because usually when you have a family weekend at a rehab facilities, it's when the family all flies in
Hmm.
after near the end of the rehab, and they try to reconnect the patient with the family. But we kind of started with one in Palm Springs specifically that Amanda used to go to, and they let me talk because after she passed away, and I that's how it kind of started.
Yeah.
But I would talk to the families uh, about, sometimes you have to let your children fail. You shouldn't support them, financially all the time. You have to let them grow up. And a lot of these families are enabling their kids to continue with their behavior because they don't have to worry about money and they're just being taken care of. You're allowing your kid to
Mm.
stay in your house and you know do heroin or whatever their issue is, and you're allowing it. And you have to get tough. You have to get tough. You have to let your kids grow up and fail a little bit.
Mm.
That's a tough thing to do as a parent. At least you have to be able to identify that, as a parent, you're part of the problem because you're enabling the child.
Hmm.
If that's the relationship. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so interesting because you think that that's loving your child is to let them stay in your house
Right.
for free,
Take
or
care of them.
yeah, it seems like you're taking care of them, but it's actually detrimental because you're not empowering them to
Right.
be independent. So they're probably trying to find out who they are.
Right.
And so maybe they're like, okay, I'll try this and maybe I can find some identity of like who I could be, or escape, maybe
Right.
escape. Mhm. Yeah, it's interesting because I was thinking about that with I tried so hard with my son and I think I did a great job. Well,
Uh-huh.
I mean, he's only 10 now, so we'll see.
Right.
Verdict's still out. But I mean, as far as like even at the playground, like not helping him up
Right. Right.
and having that a child struggle strengthens them
Right.
and but I notice I have to be honest with my daughter now. She's 7. I mean, I would say about half the time I'm enabling her. Oh, what can I do, like
Right.
catering to her? And I don't know if it's because a boy and now I have a girl, but I find it kind of interesting that you said that because I feel like it's a red flag for me that I need to pay attention to that
Right.
it can not serve her long term.
Right. Because you have normal, maternal instincts.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's difference when the child is 10 and when they're 26 and they're still living, in their bedroom. There's a big difference between that. Okay. I'm talking about, kids that are 25, 26 years old and
Yeah.
they're still a mommy and daddy's pocketbook.
Yeah.
That's crazy,
No,
you know.
yeah, that's a good point. But I do feel like it's still important
Oh,
to
it is.
lay the groundwork
Right.
because then if you just all of a sudden, okay, I'm not enabling you anymore, they're gonna be like, oh, well, that's how you showed love. You don't
Right.
love me anymore. So
Right.
there could be that. I
Right.
don't know. But what's your son up to?
Well, he's in his last year of college. He goes to Santa Cruz. He's going
Oh,
to
okay.
graduate. He's
UC
going to
Santa
graduate in
Cruz
June.
then.
Yeah, he's
Uh-huh.
always been a good student. He was a very easy kid. That's one thing that helped me. That I mean, if I had a lot of issues with a teenager or something while all this was going on, I would have gone crazy.
Oh,
He
yeah.
was he was a he's probably about the easiest kid you could have. He was just easy,
Yeah.
which helped me
Yeah.
out a lot. You know,
Yeah. That's really wonderful. And you guys have a good relationship.
yeah, we have a really good relationship. Yeah,
That's
we're good buddies.
that's amazing.
The whole thing affected him in a different way. I didn't
Yeah.
really, I guess I wasn't paying attention. He gained a lot of weight,
Okay.
himself. I guess he was
Hmm.
eating a lot of stuff. I just wasn't paying attention. And
So that's easy to do. You're trying to focus on your wife and her own
right,
healing. Yeah.
but he went up to two. He's 6'1", and he weighed
Oh, so
two.
he's a big guy anyway.
He's a, he's about the same height as me, but he weighed 298 when my wife died, and it was
And when was that? When did your wife
that would have
die?
been 2020,
Hmm.
February of 2020, so a little over 2.5 years ago.
Okay.
And within a year of her passing, he lost 115 pounds on his own just by dieting and stuff. And I think he realized that the just all the stress of what we went through with his mother had affected him, and he took it upon himself to just he just ate rice and chicken and vegetables for about a year, and he just lost weight and and walked every day. And he just did it naturally. I was very proud of him. Now he's like 185. He's like skinny now, but it definitely affected him in that way.
Yeah, yeah, interesting. And maybe in a way had his own food addiction.
Yeah, he did.
No.
It was bad for. I think. Well, that's one thing that Amanda did was she always cooked the way that she showed love was always have cakes and cookies and cupcakes. You know, she always made everything filled with carbohydrates and sugar.
Ah, yeah. I know. My kids wish I was like that.
Yeah,
And I say you'll thank me someday.
they'll thank you. Yeah, you don't want to get hooked on sugar. That's the
Oh,
worst thing.
it is such a drug.
It
Oh my
is.
God. It's like that's an addiction too, and it's
Well,
awful.
sugar's the biggest addiction. Oh yeah.
Oh, for sure. And it is so toxic. And definitely my kids are.
Right.
But I don't give them a lot at home. But like when
Right.
Halloween comes or Christmas, the holidays, oh yeah, they get it. So let's go back to what do you feel is effective for treating or helping a family member? Do you feel organizations like AA work in supporting recovery, or what do you think? What have you found in your experience?
Well, the first thing when someone is chronic and they're at the point where they can't stop, you need to do an intervention. The family needs to do an intervention. Otherwise, that person's going to they're either going to die themselves, they're going to harm themselves in a horrible way, or harm someone else. So the family needs to step in. They need to go to a rehab facility for 30, 60, or 90 days. But that's just the beginning. I mean, Amanda went to 7 of them. When you get out, and the problem that I have with rehabs is they're wonderful. They have a great support group. You're around like-minded people. You can talk about your issues. You can expose what's really bothering you in a comfortable setting. The problem is when that's over, they just kind of you walk out the door and you go back and revisit your own life.
Yeah.
And they give you a list of AA meetings and they tell you to get an accountability sponsor. Well, that's all great, but you're basically leaving up to the patient to take care of themselves. I equate it to allowing someone who needs open heart surgery to do surgery on themselves. you know, and the
What?
problem is the follow up.
Yeah.
AA meetings are absolutely a life or death situation. You have to go to AA meetings because when someone's an alcoholic, it's a disease that's going to last for the person's entire life.
Yeah. No.
You may be able to have some success in sobriety, but you have to do the work.
Yeah.
I know people that haven't had a drink in 25 years and they still go to AA meetings.
Yeah. I do as well. Some of my clients. Yeah.
You have to,
And they're proud I hadn't had a drink in
right?
that long. That's amazing. Okay, so I just had this idea.
Sure.
that you could have, you take my ideas with a grain of salt, but you could have a program, or you could start a program with facilitators that's online, that is, it's almost like, that follow-up that you're talking about, and have it be, and they just pay like a monthly fee, and they have like their weekly meetings. What do you think about that?
Well, that's actually, I'm starting a coaching program that's going
Oh,
to
you
get into
are? Okay.
exactly
Okay, cool.
doing that. I'm actually making, I'm going to make a series of, I already have on YouTube, but make a series
Hmm.
of about 50 different videos
Okay.
explaining, identifying everything that we're talking about here today, identifying first, and then what to do. And exploring your own emotions, and identifying the loved one who's at risk and why they might be at risk, and almost every little detail that someone might be able to relate to. And certainly, part of an element of that is going to be what to do after a rehab facility,
Yeah.
because
Oh,
that's
yeah, that's great. Yeah, that's great. Well, I think that's amazing and incredible work that you're doing in her honor,
right.
and for your son, and such an example for him. So
Yeah,
it's
I hope
wonderful.
so.
Yeah. Yeah. What does he want to do? What is his passion?
Well, he is an English literature major.
Okay.
We obviously we have a lot of books in the house. I think, I've certainly an influence on that. He's really into old literature,
Yeah.
the classics,
Okay.
everything from Dante to Milton to, the stuff nobody reads and you have to dust off.
Wonderful.
He's into
He's
those books.
smart.
All
He's
right,
smart, huh?
he's
Yeah.
smart. I don't know what that equates to what he's going to do, but maybe
Yeah.
he can help
Yeah.
me somehow.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That would be amazing to do
Right.
something together. Well,
Yeah.
it's been such a pleasure getting to know
Yeah.
you and
You
learning
too.
about your book, Amanda, Cautionary Tale. I'll put your website and how to buy your book in the show notes. So thank you for being
Okay.
here with me today.
Well, thanks so much, Teresa. It's good talking to you.
Yeah, you too. Have a great day.
All right. You too.
Okay.
That's it for today's episode of Zen Success. Head on over to iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, or wherever you listen to shows. Zen Success is also available on the radio in select markets through amfm247.com. Subscribe to the show and share with friends. Be sure to head on over to zensuccessshow.com to help you on your Zen success journey, and join us on the next episode. May you find your own Zen success in life.